Today's news. Supreme Court does not release Fatullayev. APFP Musavat Coalition claims Ali Karimli won elections. Elections were free, fair, and transparent, says the joint statement of winning parties. Classic Popular Front Party requires annulment of election results. Association for Civil Society Development in Azerbaijan reacts bizarrely to U.S. State Department statement on elections. The European Court of Human Rights, ruling for the release of imprisoned journalist Emila Fatullayev, was considered at the extraordinary plenary meeting of Azerbaijan Supreme Court today. The plenary meeting upheld the decision of the Strasbourg Court, which ruled that Fatullahev's rights had been violated in two criminal charges weighed against him by the Azerbaijani government, threatening terror and the incitement of national hatred. Therefore, the Supreme Court ruled to terminate the criminal cases on those charges, though they did not waive the charges of tax evasion. Thus, the plenary meeting issued a general decision to release Fatullayev. However, he was not freed because of the July 6 drug possession charges that earned him another 2.5 years in jail. The Azerbaijani government can claim to have formally executed the ECHR judgment, but the journalist remains behind bars. What will happen with the €28,000 compensation for Fatullayev remains unknown. On April 22, 2010, the European Court of Human Rights ruled for the immediate release of Fatullayev. The Azerbaijani government subsequently filed an appeal with the Grand Chamber of the ECHR. However, the Grand Chamber upheld their original decision on the 4th of October. On December 29, 2009, heroin was found on Fatullahev's person while he was incarcerated in prison number 12. On the 6th of July 2010, Fatullayev was found guilty of drug possession and sentenced to 2.5 years of prison. Fatullayev and his colleagues are convinced that the drugs were planted in his clothing and shoes as a means of keeping him behind bars.
Today, the APFP Musavat Coalition Party held a press conference on the election violations. The party claimed that the election results were rigged in favour of ruling party candidate Farid Guliev in the 2nd Suakhani constituency number 31. There were significant differences between the voting numbers recorded at polling stations and the corresponding figures published on the Central Election Committee website. The website figures for votes for Guliev were higher each time. Speakers at the press conference claimed that Guliev only won the elections due to these violations. On November 9th, Guliev held a press conference during which he claimed that the elections had been democratic and that there had been no fraudulent practices. He accused Ali Karimli's observers of disrupting the voting process. Guliev says that he was victorious in 21 out of 29 constituencies, while Ali Karimli only won in 8. The APFP Musavat party stated that they would be taking their appeal to court.
As the parties represented in the Azerbaijani parliament, believe that the November 7th elections were free, democratic, transparent, and fair. These elections clearly and accurately express the Azerbaijani people's will. We call on all political forces in Azerbaijan and the international organizations to make an objective evaluation of parliamentary elections held in Azerbaijan, reads the joint statement released on November 11th in Yeni Azerbaijan Party headquarters by the YAP, Civil Solidarity Party, United Azerbaijan Popular Front Party, Great Establishment Party, Motherland Party, the Justice Party, the Democratic Reforms Party, and the Social Welfare Party. The statement goes on to say that the pre-election climate and election process as a whole met international standards. Thousands of local and foreign observers, mass media representatives, observed all the stages of the election campaign, including the course of voting. We are pleased to note that the majority of local and international observers positively assessed the elections, says the statement signed by pro-government parties. Deputy YAP Chairman Ali Ahmadov said that Isa Gamber and Ali Karimli's defeat does not signify a violation of democracy. The election process, the election environment, and the election results should be assessed from the perspective of the people's will, he noted. Civil Society Party head Sabir Rustamkhanlı, who introduced himself as a leader of an opposition party, said that there were some law violations in the elections, which did not have a significant impact on the results. United Azerbaijan Popular Front Party chairman Gudret Hasan Guliev said that the elections met standards in 90% of precincts. According to an OSCE statement, It is up to the Central Election Commission to investigate the negative tendencies in 10% of the precincts, he noted. Great Establishment Party chairman Fazıl Ghazlan Faroglu called on the defeated parties to build relations with the parliamentary opposition. It is not the end of the world. Now the Civil Solidarity Party is considered to be the main opposition. I'm calling on you to cooperate with the parliamentary opposition, he said. On November 11th, Classic Popular Front Party released a statement in a press conference on the non-recognition of the November 7th parliamentary election results. The statement said that the results of the elections must be annulled because the elections were completely falsified, not transparent, not free, and undemocratic. In the press conference, the attending parliamentary candidates presented evidence proving the law violations and election falsification. The candidates said that the voting results were falsified in favor of the ruling party candidates. The candidates made statements. All assessed election results as invalid. The attendees also informed that the court proceedings on about 20 cases are underway. But citing the lack of an independent judiciary system in the country, speakers said that they will end up taking this issue to the European Court as well. They said that the number of candidates appealing to the court will be much more than it was in previous elections. Prior to this statement, the APFP Musavat Election Coalition and several other parties released similar statements. Additionally, the OSCE, Democratic Institutions and Human Rights Bureau, and other European international organizations stated that the elections did not meet democratic standards. However, the Central Election Commission described the elections as democratic, despite some minor violations. Further, the observers from the Commonwealth of Independent States countries assessed the elections as normal.
The Association for Civil Society Development in Azerbaijan, ACSDA, has deemed the U.S. State Department's statement on Azerbaijan's parliamentary elections a risk to national stability, said the chairman of the association, Mahram Zulfugali, at a press conference today. The OSCE Office for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights, the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe, and the European Parliament and Commonwealth of Independent States have all evaluated the elections and made criticisms, but they also said that the polls reflected the political will of the voters, said Zulfugali. He said that the ACSDA's November 8th report had mentioned the problems that had occurred during candidate registration, in getting approval for meetings with voters, and during the allocation of free airtime for political candidates. They also observed violations on the actual election day, including ballot stuffing and multiple vote casting. However, positive behaviours were also observed. Zulfugali stated that most observation missions had come to similar conclusions, but the US State Department, which had no observation on elections in Azerbaijan, stood alone in its negative evaluation. This is potentially inflammatory. Official statements like this pose risks to national stability.